I used to deliver for Uber Eats. I was having trouble paying off my student loans, so I was hustling to make whatever cash I could. I still lived with my parents at the time. It was late at night. I was picking up an order from some fast food place in Wilmington, North Carolina, and delivering to some house about 20 minutes away. I often did late night deliveries and Uber rides because the pay was higher and I could bang out more deliveries and rides without traffic. I was already en route to the address. I was leaving the more populated residential area of Wilmington and heading in the direction of the quieter part with all the forest and farms. Most of the roads over there were pitch black and void of any other cars at that late hour in the night. I turned off the main road onto a side road with a dead-end sign. This was the road the directions were taking me, where the address was. I was brought to the last house on this road. The lights to almost every little house on this stretch were off. It was just pitch black. Even the house that I was supposed to be delivering the food to. I had to keep my car headlights on just to even see, and just so I wouldn't trip on anything, I also was using my flashlight on my phone to navigate my way to the porch of this house. I'm not lying when I say there was not a single light on. I even felt the overgrown grass rubbing on my shins as I walked to the front door. This didn't feel right. I pressed the doorbell button but didn't hear a ring, so I knocked. The customer had their delivery preference to be contact delivery, which means I'd have to actually physically hand it off to him or her. I messaged the customer that I'm at the front door and asked him if he could confirm the address. He read it right away and responded, "Give me a second." I replied, "Okay." He read it. I waited in the dark, looking at the windows of the house, waiting for a light inside to turn on. I was thinking there's no way this is the right house. I followed up again, asking him if he could type out his address. He started typing. It took a while before he sent a message saying, "I see you, you're at the right house." The next thing I realized was that there were no cars anywhere. This was making no sense. I asked the customer to confirm what kind of car he sees outside. He replied that he sees my light. Well, that pretty much confirmed that I was at the correct address, but it didn't make this any less sketchy. I started to just inch away from the door to the house just because I didn't want to be on top of it as they opened the door. But the door never opened, no matter how many times I messaged the customer on the Uber Eats app. I was starting to suspect this was some kind of scam to get free food. Then I heard a voice come from outside in the darkness surrounding me. It was a male's voice calling, "Over here." I started to wave my flashlight all over the place, trying to reveal whoever just said that. I said out loud, "I'm leaving the food on the front porch over here." I didn't know who I was talking to, nor could I see them. I was terrified I was about to be attacked, so I walked back to my car, not trying to draw attention by running. When I got to my car, I heard this distinct air leaking sound that I could immediately recognize to be the sound of air leaking from a slashed tire. I took a look and saw that both the tires on the left side of the car were slashed and leaking air. I could only assume in the moment that the two tires on the right side had also been slashed. I got into the car and locked the doors first thing. All four tires showed low tire pressure warnings on the dash. Panic started to set in. I was deciding on whether to call the police and wait in the car or making a run for it into the dark to a nearby house. I was about to pick the second option. I turned off the headlights on my car and was about to get out of the car, but I noticed someone standing outside my window. I screamed my soul out, and then I realized that there were at least 4 people standing outside of my car, one at every window. They all had on masks covering their faces. I was surrounded. One of them yelled at me to get out of the car now. I didn't know if one of them had a gun or not, and I knew that if they did, by the time I turned on the car and attempt to drive away with 4 flats, I'd have been shot dead already. I yelled through the window asking if they're just looking to rob me, and one of them said if I gave them everything on me, they'd let me go. I agreed to do so and unlocked the door. The second I did, the guy outside my door opened it and forcefully pulled me out. At this point, I was beaten and kicked by at least 3 of the guys. They grabbed everything off of me, my smartwatch, my shoes, my wallet, my phone, and even some things out of my glove compartment in my car. I was left on the ground as however many men there actually were ran away into the darkness, and I was alone. I blacked out from here, and the next thing I remember is waking up probably half an hour later still laying on the grass next to my car. They'd stolen even my keys. I managed to get up and navigate myself to the nearest source of light I could find in the distance, which was a small house all the way up the street closer to the main road. I rang the bell a few times until someone answered through the closed door. I said I'd been injured and robbed and need to use a phone. Luckily, the woman was willing to help and allowed me to use a phone to call the police and then to call roadside assistance to have my car towed. Lastly, I called my dad. After police showed up, I was taken back to my car and they did a short investigation and took as much information as I could give them. After my car was towed away, my dad came to pick me up and bring me home. We left after my car was towed away. My phone's last location was down the street from the incident, and it hadn't been turned on since the night before, meaning they probably destroyed the phone. The next day, I gave even more information to some detectives regarding my Uber Eats account, and they rather quickly were able to trace the customer account back to a guy named Logan, who, long story short, allegedly lost his phone and wallet, and whoever found or stole them was the one to call the Uber Eats delivery with the intention of robbing me. Basically what I'm saying is whoever did this to me got away with it. The house that they set this up at was a vacant house for sale. My car tires were covered by insurance, but everything else I ate the loss. And this was a painful and expensive, but also valuable lesson to not be so naive ever again in a situation like that. I stopped deliveries for a few months. Then I went back to doing daytime deliveries.